Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this episode we're going to cover the timing system. This is the 1.9dci F9Q engine. It's found in the Renault Trafic, Vauxhall Vivaro, Nissan Primastar and a lot of other Renault models like Laguna, Scenic and other models. So what you're going to learn today, you're probably going to be able to apply to the 1.5 DCI engine, and also you will gain some knowledge which you could probably apply on the 2-liter, the later version of this 1.9, the CD TI engine that goes into the later models after 2006. Now, they have their pros and cons. Personally, this is my own personal opinion. The 1.9 is the more reliable engine of the two, but again, the more modern, the lower emissions, the less stacks. This one has higher emissions, but it doesn't have a DPF, so you don't have the complications to deal with when that goes wrong. Anyway, so in this video we're going to learn about the timing belt system, how we're going to time everything, how we're going to replace the timing belt. I'm going to show you how to remove and install a new water pump, pulleys, tensioners, and of course we're gonna use the locking pin to lock the crankshaft. So I'm gonna show you where that is. And for the fuel pump, the high pressure fuel pump, you don't really need to worry about timing. We're gonna cover the timing marks here in order to have everything in place. So this is interference engine, so you don't want to mess with the timing, otherwise you will break your engine and you will bend the valves. So I've already marked this previously off camera. There's a little spot here and I'm gonna basically make sure it's aligned with this line here on this metal casing. And whenever I remove this pulley here, then you're gonna see the other mark that will match as well. And of course I'm gonna rotate the engine. I'm gonna show you exactly what bolt to take off and where to install the pin. And if you don't have the special pin, you can just use a drill bit as long as it's the right diameter. So as I like to say, let's not waste any time and let's get started. Okay, I've zoomed in closer so you can see the bolt that you have to remove in order to access the hole where we're going to insert the pin in order to lock the crankshaft. So you got internal torque socket and it's E14. You want to loosen this and take it out. I've previously drained the oil because I'm going to do some more maintenance and I'm going to replace the crankshaft bearings and stuff like that. Yeah, you've got this open here, and now we're gonna turn the crankshaft. So we're gonna turn the crankshaft clockwise. So keep going until this little dot aligns with this mark here that I've previously drawn. So I'm gonna get the pin, I'm gonna turn the engine again so you can see where I'm gonna insert it. I'm going to leave the ratchet in place, and we only need a tiny bit of adjustment in order to insert the pin. So let me show you the process. I've got this set. This is made by Laser Tools, and I find these laser tools are probably one of the best tools your money can buy. Let me zoom in on the model here so you can see the pins that are included in this kit. And I'm gonna, by the way, the 3 of them work. I've got 3 pins here in this kit, and the one I like to use, I've done it a few times, is this one here. Now, if you try and insert this at this point, you're probably not going to be able to insert it. Let me bring you closer. So, as you can see, this doesn't go in place. Now I'm gonna just crank a bit more. I'm gonna put a bit of tension on the pin. And that's it. So this is in place, and I'm also going to rotate the engine and show you the timing marks. There is a little hole here which I've painted, and this marks with the white line. When I remove this pulley here, you're going to see the other mark. So yeah, this is the way you want this to align with the crankshaft locked, and as I said, I'll show you the other mark down below. I'm going to remove these 8mm bolts from here. you need 17mm socket and go clockwise. You need a 13mm socket for this pulley here. I've removed the pulley, so I'm ready to show you the mark. And hopefully you can see this. This line here has to match between this rib and this rib here. Okay, in order to remove the timing belt, you want to loosen this bolt here. This is a super simple system, and the previous time when I replaced the timing belt, I put some thread locker on this bolt just to stop it from coming off, just in case that happened. The timing procedure uses some extremely rare tools which most of you are not gonna have, including myself. I have some of them but not all of them. There's a special machine for checking basically the tone of the belt. When you just pull it, also you twist it, and if it's between 45 and 90 degrees, then that's where you want to be. You have a tool for pre-tensioning the belt before you tighten the bolt. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the really basic and simple procedure without over complicating everything. The next thing you want to do is you want to loosen this nut here, which is tightened to 50 Newton meters. So once I loosen that, that will remove the tension, and then we can take the timing belt off. I'm going to use an impact with a 16mm socket. We need to remove this plate here. These two bolts are 8mm. Next is the water pump. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts all together. Some of them are longer and some of them are shorter. So you just want to remember the location of the short and the long bolts. So you've got the 2 short bolts here, and then the other 3 are the longer ones. So that's where I'm gonna place my screwdriver. Hopefully you saw this, and just open it up. It's time to install the water pump. Let me focus on the part number here. This is Febi part, and the part number is 22144. And let me see what we have in the kit here. The usual quality from Febi. They supply you with the gasket, so you don't have to buy it separately, and the water pump. And I can see the water pump has been upgraded to one with metal impeller rather than plastic or ceramic. I'm going to apply 10 Newton meters of torque on all 5 bolts. Some people do it by hand. I'm going to use my torque wrench here just to be perfectly accurate. On cross pattern, of course. Perfect job. I'm going to go ahead and install the timing belt kit. So this is what I'm using. I'm using Febi timing belt kit, and this is what was on the van for about 60,000 miles previously. I used the same timing belt kit with absolutely no issues, and if I show you the water pump, it's still in very good condition, so very high quality parts. The part number here is 22056. You get the belt and the tensioner, and this is the belt itself. So there's a mark on the belt which we're going to align with the camshaft here with top dead center, and we'll just leave it here for now. What I'm planning to do here is to use a bit of blue Loctite on these bolts. I'm going to apply 10 Newton meters of torque on these bolts. I'm going to show you how to correctly install timing belt on a 1.9dci F9Q engine. This is the famous, well-known Renault Trafic, Vauxhall Vivaro, Nissan Primastar, Renault Laguna, Megane, and many other models. So this is the Febi belt that I'm going to be using, along with the Febi pump and the tensioner, which is right here. This is part of the tensioner. I've removed this so I can install the belt, and also this plate comes with the tensioner. So there's a couple of very important things that I want to make you aware of, and I'm hoping this is focusing very well here so you can see what I'm talking about. So you've got one timing mark, you've got the arrows that show you the direction of the rotation of the belt, and also you have another mark here down below. So hopefully you can see the two marks, one on my left hand and one on my right hand. So what you want to do is you want to align these, so one of these has to match this notch here that I've marked with white. You can see it on your crankshaft sprocket, you can see the notch here. I've just highlighted it with white paint so you can see it a bit easier. And then the second mark has to align with the marking on the crankshaft sprocket. So once you place this here, you can also use a cable tie if you want to do something like that, so it doesn't jump. Okay, so let's go ahead and install a cable tie in place, just so we can hold this belt so it doesn't jump. We want to hold this white line here against the notch. So I've clamped this, it's not going anywhere. If you move the belt, it's not going to jump. And if we try and install this belt, I can tell you probably right now we're probably going to struggle to install it on the bottom crankshaft sprocket here. So we're very close but not there yet. So what I will advise you to do, get your ratchet. This is 18mm bolt, and just rotate. When you feel resistance, when the camshaft is just about to turn, obviously don't go any further, but that obviously you don't have to worry about the diesel high pressure pump here. There's no timing on it, and that will allow you a bit more movement. So what you want to do is you want to create a bit more tension, and that will hopefully allow you to insert the belt on the correct tooth, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So this sprocket moved again slightly. Let's rotate it, feed it down, hold it with the ratchet if you have to, and then install it in place. So you've actually seen me doing it in real time. We've cable tied this one here, this one down below is in place. I'm going to show you the marking, and you want to have the belt on the inside. Very important now to put a bit of tension, just obviously the sprocket will go back again, it will align, and then you can install your washer and the nut just by hand, just gently. What I've done here is I've got an M6 bolt. I'm going to show you the actual Renault procedure on the screen, and it uses some really fancy special tools which we don't have, and there's really no need for any special tools when it comes to working on this engine, apart from the locking pin which is inserted in the crankshaft here. The crankshaft locking pin, so this will hold the crankshaft in place, and this sprocket won't move. So this is an M6 bolt, and I can measure the length of this bolt just to show you as well. And I've got two small washers. So the usable length of this bolt is about 15 millimeters. I'm gonna use Loctite 243. This is medium strength thread locker, and I'm going to apply the Loctite We've tightened the M6 bolt here. Now we're going to apply 45 Newton meters on this nut. After, of course, we rotate the belt a few times. So this is finger tight at the moment. I'm going to cut the cable tie, and you can see that this matches here. And I'm also going to bring you closer to show you the other mark. So this is as clear as I can show you. You can see how it matches. So this is the white paint mark on the belt, and it matches the mark on the sprocket here. So let's go over it again. This one aligns. This is the correct route for the belt. Drives the water pump, the crankshaft sprocket, and then the tensioner, which we said we're gonna tighten after a few rotations just to make sure that there's no contact with the valves. I can tell you there'll be no issues with that, but just to be 100% sure, if you've never done this before, this is going to be a good guide for you. I've installed the bolt here in place. Now remove your locking pin. So this is one rotation on the crank, two, after you rotate several times, your marks are going to move from the notches, and that doesn't mean that your belt has slipped. It just means that obviously the sprockets have different number of teeth, and if you keep rotating for a long time, eventually you will line it up. I'm just going to look at my marking here. So I'm very close to top dead center on cylinder 1. I'm going to attempt to insert my tool just for a final check. I'm going to rotate, and then the pin locks. We're just in the right place here and down below. So again, don't worry if your paint marks have moved. That's totally normal. What you can do as well, which is what's shown in the user manual, is you can insert your cover. This is the original cover. Some people go for hard cover, and if you look through this window, we're actually going to see this mark. So this concludes the timing. Everything is perfect. I'm going to apply 45 Newton meters on this nut here, and before that I'm also going to apply a little bit of thread locker on it just to be 100% sure. I've got my torque wrench set up, and we've got a 16 millimeter nut here, and that's 45 Newton meters. After this, you can install your cover, which sit right here, and then you can remove your bolt and install the crank pulley. The correct torque procedure for this bolt is 20 Newton meters initial torque, and after this 115 degrees. you have plus minus 15 degrees, so I'm gonna aim for about 120 degrees, somewhere there. Let's install the crankshaft locking pin plug. I like to use some Reinsoplast. So this stays in liquid form forever, doesn't harden, and it doesn't allow oil to go to the threads. Now the torque for this bolt is 25 Newton meters, so let's set the torque wrench to 25.